Jeff, you've got Antonio Gates.
Yes. Thank you again, Jeff Schlegel. Schleg Daddy TV is my YouTube channel where you can hear me rant about Bears football all the time. Uh, so I start off with this. What's the measure of a first ballot Hall of Fame? I think one of those things is accolades. How about 8 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances? 3 times AP All Pro first team, 2 times AP All Pro second team, all decade team member. So we can check that box. How about statistical dominance? 7th all time in receiving touchdowns ever. All positions, all players, 7th in NFL history. First all time amongst tight ends. That's ever. All tight ends in history. 5 more than former first ballot Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez. And oh, by the way, in 34 fewer career games. Led the NFL in tight end touchdowns, receiving 5 times. I'm going to repeat that again. Led the NFL in receiving touchdowns for tight ends 5 times. He was 3 times top 5 in all of the NFL in receiving touchdowns, and also sprinkled in seasons of being 6th, 7th, and 9th. He's 3rd all time amongst tight ends in career receptions and career receiving yards. Career average of 12.4 yards per reception is better than both Tony Gonzalez and somebody else I think we all agree will be a future Hall of Famer, and that's Jason Witten. So statistical dominance, check. All-time positional ranking. When we talk about all 15 candidates here today, I think we could point to this man as having as good of a case as any to have an argument for being top 5 at his position of all time. And that, of course, I'm talking about is Antonio Gates. But as I was thinking about Antonio Gates and his career and comparing him to some of the other finalists here, I wanted to put his touchdown dominance as a tight end in perspective compared to Andre Johnson and Torrey Holt combined. Combined, mind you, in 366 career games, Andre Johnson and Torrey Holt had 144 receiving touchdowns. In 130 fewer games, Antonio Gates had 116 receiving touchdowns. So that's only 28 fewer receiving touchdowns in 130 fewer games. Just astounding. He had 64% of the career games played as those other two, yet had 80% of the receiving touchdowns of those two combined. Gates finished top 5 in the NFL, as I mentioned before, 3 times in receiving touchdowns. Andre Johnson and Torrey Holt combined only did it twice. Gates led his position 5 times in receiving touchdowns. Andre Johnson, Torrey Holt combined did it 0. So in terms of accolades, statistical dominance, dominance relative to peers, dominance relative to other pass catchers in this class. I don't think the question is whether Antonio Gates is a Hall of Famer. I don't think the question is whether Antonio Gates is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think the question is, how could Antonio Gates not be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Really well done. Chris?